Hello, everybody. Welcome to another video. I am Asha T. Today, I want to talk about healthy attachments. So, I know probably if you are watching this, you have heard of attachment styles, and you may be dealing with unhealthy attachments in your life. It is totally normal, first and foremost. We are being asked to clear a lot of trauma in this lifetime, and I don't believe in no attachments. In fact, I believe that there's a lot of rhetoric out there and it kind of divides humanity. And that if you're super spiritual, you have to have no attachments. And um, for me, as someone who represents the divine family unit and love and purification and the masculine and the feminine coming together, what we want to do is purify and clean your attachments. So the first thing you need to understand is that if the attachment is not healthy, there's going to be an element of you that's going to get a dopamine hit from an attachment when someone comes in and out of your life. And you don't want to be receiving that because what it ends up doing is it kind of like knocks you around um, and makes you do things that are out of alignment for you. If you are under sort of this dopamine hit of somebody that's like perceiving to have more power over you. So let's use a tangible example. I love those. Let's say you have a crush on a man, and every time he comes around, you get like this hit of like dopamine, or if he pulls away, you're like, where is he? This man merely represents what's going on inside of you and where you feel like you're missing. So you want to know that, all right, that he's just like an instrument in improving your energetics inside, your emotional intelligence, and your ability to um, stay within your body. And then he doesn't have any power over you. So if he was just like a Joe Schmo from Tinder and had no power over you, you wouldn't even notice if he ghosted you. But for some reason, your mind thinks that he has more power over you because of the father wound, which again, you could have had the most present father. It could come from your nana, it could come from your mother. It's like a long family line of crap that you're cleaning out, okay? And all this crap gets lodged in these pipes that you have that are like coming off your body. You've got all these energetic pipes and like these like tubes, and they're cloggy. And so this masculine man is like coming out. No, he's not really masculine. He's a bit swampy. He's coming in and out and he's hitting you with dopamine hits. And it's like, oh my God. And it like, it doesn't, it feels good and it feels like you're going to get what you want. But the truth is that you're never going to get what you want in that place because it's never going to scratch your itch. If he were available, you wouldn't even like it wouldn't feel good most likely. You're kind of addicted to the hit of dopamine. So in my work, I don't talk about shutting doors on these types of men. A lot of women are there. They're like, fuck that guy. He's got a major ego. And I get that because they're dangerous equally. If you get caught up in these, like they can be really dangerous because these men are oftentimes sucking your soul. And women do it. Women do it as well. They do it with emasculated men. They emasculate men all the time and keep men on edge. Um, Having to be proven from their for their love instead of being consistently loving. And so it works both ways. But all of that said, let's keep with the dynamic that we are on here with this particular attachment. So what people do is they're like, oh my God, and they like freak out and they like cut and sever cords and all this like detachment crap. And honestly, it's just like, oh my God. Or like the guru who's like had this really bad heartbreak in the past and now he has to plug in 700 women. It's like giving him like this false sense of like, I'm the spiritual one, I'm gonna save the planet. And look, I'm also simultaneously attempting to save the planet here with my work, but that's the guru. They like don't feel like anybody's above them. And so that is ego 100% of the time. And what happens is when we get caught in these dynamics is we feel like we have to prove ourselves to that masculine or that feminine without having cleaned the energy, without having cleaned the energy around it. So as a woman who enjoys masculine direction and loves it very, very much, and I like a little bit of that reward system, it's a kink and it's also a desire for me. And I believe a lot of women want this because it just makes me more beautiful. It makes me more connected to God. It makes me more soft and feminine. And they like that masculine direction and they like that potent masculine man. You're gonna need to clean out the pipes. You don't want to be cutting off men. In fact, I've seen so many women cutting off men, coaches and leaders, and they're what they're doing is they're taking that vibration of I hate men into their creational reality. They're into their reality, and whoever's around them starts to hate men. It's really, really bad, and it's on a very big scale. So when it comes to your attachments, don't be fooled. This shows up at work. This shows up at home. This shows up. It doesn't matter if you're married. A man can still be doing this with you. It doesn't matter if you've got this job. You could still be in this type of dynamic with your boss. And it's like, oh, I got to do good for these men and serve these men. And they're going to like, they're never going to really commit. And what we want you to do is sort of be in that energy of like, I love this man and he's molding me and he's turning me into this beautiful woman and he's committing to me and he's clean and he's pure because you're clean and you're pure in your intentions. You're clean and you're pure in your attachments. Now, codependency, tyranny, and like leaky sexual men, they only exist because there's codependent women. That's the only reason. If women all clean this up and stood in their own sovereignty, we would have no leaky sexual men. But sadly, there's like an endless supply of them for a lot of these men because there's so much codependency in the feminine. She's very codependent, but she needs to wake up to feminine embodiment before she can receive those lessons. My advice is to stay away from men that are not committing, or even if they give you that feeling of like, oh yeah, like being a fangirl is just so gross. Just don't do it. I did it for far too long. I'm like embarrassed of that version of me that was like, yeah, let me just love this man and then I'll be whole. It's like crazy. It's actually crazy when you think about the stories that we have as women and like we needing to prove ourselves and like be a good girl and then we'll get picked and then this. It took me forever to stop running this program. That's why I'm so good at teaching the way that I am because it took me forever to get out of those programs. You want to have healthy attachments. Trust me, when you first start seeing them, they're not going to feel good for you because you're used to this taintedness with the masculine and you want to get over that. It's going to be very uncomfortable. But I promise you, you can do it. And I know it because I am blessed with extremely potent masculine men that are very clear in their intentions. And if they're not clear, if they're not a value add, they get very little of my attention or my energy. It's just, if they're not clear or if they feel like they're too grabby or if they're not a value add in my life, I have it. You don't have to even feed that and not in a negative way, not in a bad way. I love all the men that come into my life. I love every single manifestation that I create, any man or woman, even if it's a bad thing, it's not an enemy, it's not nothing. It's just something that I've created. And so on that knowing and on that belief system, I can identify cleaner and more aligned things for me. And I will be honest with you, if you have gone through that dynamic of an unhealthy masculine guy who has come into your life as like I called mine in like in many different ways, CEOs, spiritual gurus, if they're coming in and they have like all these inversions and like unhealthy attachments to women, which a lot of them do, then you have to learn to be above that and discern it so that you can just say, no, that's not on. And like, that's not okay. And that will keep aligning you to what you're actually here for. Now, on the other hand, I have a lot of empathy for them because I had a lot of that when I first started and I couldn't see it. And I know that they can't see it. So they're just like outliving this life thinking they're not bad. So don't focus on that. Focus on you. I also wasted a lot of time trying to change them. You don't want to change a man. You don't want to change somebody else's attachments. It's not your problem. Yes, come here, talk on your microphone, help other women, hope that one person gets the message because if you're doing it every day and one person gets the message, job done. But ultimately, you need to focus on you and calling in what it is that you want for your life and healthy attachments to that. Healthy. All right. I'm sending you so much love. Bye.